I'm Georgia and this is The Sound of Georgia. Did you know that Hamilton Lullabies are a thing? Yep, that's right. Yes. Rockabye Baby actually made an album called Lullaby Renditions of Songs from Hamilton. It's an album of 8 songs with lullaby versions of Alexander Hamilton, My Shot, The Schuyler Sisters, You'll Be Back, Helpless, Satisfied, Wait For It, and Say No to This. I first heard about them in a post on my Hamilton fan Facebook group. Obviously, I was intrigued, so I looked them up on YouTube, and my first thought was, Say No to This? How did they turn Say No to This into a lullaby? The answer is instrumental on a glockenspiel. Okay, I don't know whether it's a glockenspiel or whether it's some kind of other percussion instrument, and if it is, what that would be or anything like that. But I think the glockenspiel, or insert whatever percussion instrument it actually is not the big point. The instrumental is. Because when you listen to it, you sort of realise musically, Say No to This does have the sort of tune that could work as a lullaby. Which is why it's probably on the album. It's not one of the songs in the show that's big enough that you'd have to have it on an album, for lack of a better word. The first 3 songs on the album are Alexander Hamilton, My Shot, and The Schuyler Sisters. And I think we can all agree they're the sort of songs that you could go, oh, well, it's a Hamilton related thing, of course they're going to be on there. So putting those 3 aside, because as I said, they're all but required, having Say No to This on the album brings me to my next point, and that is Dear Theodosia. As far as I'm concerned, Dear Theodosia is already a lullaby. If you're going to make an album of lullaby versions of songs from Hamilton, you may as well include the one that is pretty much a lullaby. You wouldn't even need to change anything. As I said, these are instrumentals and they're played on some sort of percussion instruments. But the tunes themselves are a little tweaked. I don't think you'd even have to do that with Dear Theodosia. Now I understand if you were going to put it on an album like this, you probably would make an instrumental to match all the others. But in a broader sense, I don't even think you'd have to do that. Now when I first found out about them, it said in the Facebook post and in the comments of the Say No to This video on YouTube, that they really did work in putting you to sleep. And yes, I know, by you means your kids, because I tried. That's not the only reason I know it means kids. Heck, it's not even the main reason I know it means kids. I put the album on one night, hoping I might be able to clonk out before it got to the lullaby about adultery and blackmail. I didn't. I think knowing the words to the songs is a bit of a barrier if your goal is to fall asleep, because for the most of the time I was listening, I was singing along in my head. And I say most because, as I mentioned before, the tunes are tweaked a little, and they're also condensed. My Shot is not 5 minutes long like it is in the show. So I guess in a sense it's almost impossible to sing along to these songs perfectly, and it's definitely hard the first few times. The first few times I listened to Schuyler Sisters, I could barely follow along. And then the last time I listened to it, it just all clicked. Out of nowhere it clicked and I could follow along perfectly. And it went from probably the least comprehensible song on the album to the most comprehensible song on the album for me. It certainly isn't as tweaked or condensed as some of the others. Helpless and Satisfied leave out big bits here and there. Alex's proposal monologue part is completely cut, as is the 3 fundamental truths at the exact same time. Yeah, those aren't in there. But for the most part, the Schuyler Sisters is the same song throughout, just a little different and instrumental. But despite all that, guess what? I can't pick a favourite. And that's everything I've got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, did you know about these Hamilton lullabies? Have you listened to them? If you haven't, I'll leave a link in the down below to a playlist. I think it was a good idea to turn Hamilton songs into lullabies. I personally wouldn't have thought it would work. But then again, when you hear the premise of Hamilton as a show, you wouldn't think it would work. And yet it does. So I guess anything's possible. And what other song from the show do you think could have worked as a lullaby and been on this album? I feel like It's Quiet Uptown could have worked. I mean, if they can include Say No to This, then the content of the original song is certainly no barrier. But my big one is definitely Dear Theodosia. Wouldn't have to change anything. If you want a Hamilton lullaby, you might not even have to seek out this album, because the show already has what I consider to be a lullaby. So let me know your thoughts. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my video next week. So long, farewell!